let's show what I think can only be called the storming, maybe not a hurricane category 5, more like a category 2 storm, but it was storming. These dirty tricksters stormed an event, and I'm going to watch it very carefully because I understand that they shoved a cop. One was restrained by, like, this is not prickly journalism. This is not journalism at all. This is the premier of the province having her event stormed. And you're not even going to believe what I'm about to say. One of the stormers, the Stürmer, was an NDP candidate from the last federal election. Patrick King, I believe was his name, no relation to the trucker. And another was Aaron, oh shoot, I just forgot his last name, a labor union organizer who has worked in the past on labor projects with Rachel Notley's husband. So you've got a labor union organizer who knows Mr. Notley, Lou Arab's his name, and an NDP candidate from the federal election 2021. Like, these people are so brazen, they didn't even outsource this dirty tricksterism to some college kid. They did it themselves. Without further ado, take a look. And let's play this once, and then maybe we'll even play it and pause in key moments a second time. Take a look.
Hospitals are not for sale. Hospitals are not for sale.
We saw your video about buying hospitals. Check it out. We've got a great offer.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for everybody in Alberta.
Madam Premier, anything to say? Madam Premier? No? You had a lot to say about this not so long ago. Madam Premier, hospital for sale? Anything?
Yeah, you had a whole show to talk about this.
We will not sell our arms and legs for hospitals. Hospitals should be public.
They're going to cost us an arm and a leg when you sell it, though, aren't they?
You've already privatized lab services.
How does it end?
Radio silence, eh? That's all good.
Yeah.
We got all day.
Yeah, we're here for a quick hearing. It's all about.
Where's the security?
Yeah, how did this go on this long?
Yeah, so basically what happened was security moved, because one of the big concerns is they pretty much rushed, and I don't want to get into gender politics, but one, the Premier of Alberta, two, a lady, and intimidated her, both things I have problems with. But security effectively enveloped her and moved her off to the side. It should cut over. If nothing else, I do have a shot. I think it's going to be here in a second, of them over to the side with the Premier, ensuring that she's safe. And then basically at that point, it is shocking that they got in and they got that far. I believe it was Becca Pollock at that point said, "You've made your point, get out of here. We're going to proceed." Danielle Smith was saying, "You know what, I'm going to answer the question, but get out of here, and then I'll talk about it." At that point, yeah, there's a shot of me capturing the action. But then staff from the hotel actually came in and said, "We're going to call the police. You will be charged with trespassing." And at that point, they left. So they clearly, these weren't just random people. They understood that sort of nuance of being formally informed that you're trespassing. At that point, they left pretty quickly. They were saying, "We've got all day. We're not going anywhere." The second that language came up and the facility said this is a private facility, that's when they cleared out.
Yeah. Can we watch it again? And I don't know if it's possible to play it slow or if it just pause it. I want to watch this thing from the beginning. If you want to, play it at a quarter speed. I just want to watch it. Yeah. Okay.
I had a tough time seeing anything besides that guy's gut hanging out of the bottom of his shirt.
Okay, so go ahead and play it at a quarter speed.
Hospitals are not for sale.
We saw your video about buying hospitals. Check it out.
And they just let him go for some reason? Just let him go? Here, okay, so play it again. I want to see the Premier being whisked away. Go back to the beginning, if you please. Thanks for your help. Go back to the beginning. I just want to watch. What's the very first part we can spot? Is she even at the mic at this point, or was she rushed? It looks like she was not at the mic anymore. Looks like they maybe whisked her away right away. And some guy's running in the back. Someone who looks like security is pushing the bearded guy away. But then, so it looks like maybe the Premier was, so you can see behind them, they took the Premier away. And then they left them here. So thanks very much. We don't need to see anymore. So what we have here is a bunch of middle-aged guys storming a stage with, it looks like 3 women were there. The Premier and 2 other women. Apparently the other women can fend for themselves. They'll protect the Premier, but those other women are expendable. I think it is right to take the Premier away. I mean, she is the protected person here, but why did they let these other blokes free just to. Listen, I'm not a security expert, so I suppose they were clearly not being violent at this point, but why did that guy not escort him out of the room? I don't quite know.
Well, you know, I think that.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, like they tackle him and then just let him go. Like you don't even know what this guy has in his pockets, what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I found it, kind of weird to see, okay, they grab him. He obviously is willing to wrestle a cop.
Yeah.
And they just let him go stand by these ladies who are sort of, I guess, shell-shocked. What I can tell you, though, is if you toss a little bit of gravel in the general direction of the prime minister, you're going to be flattened like a pancake and taken away in handcuffs. And these guys were treated with kid gloves. And I want to know why. Yeah,
I wonder if some anti-mask or anti-vax protesters would have wrestled with a cop like that if they would be caught and released within seconds and let go without criminal charge. Or
stand by women.
Yeah, right now in Calgary, there's a pastor named Derek Reimer who merely for being near extreme cross-dressing, what's a drag queen story hour, has done 3 weeks in prison just for being near them. And here you have people breaking in, threatening the premier physically, wrestling with cops, and okay, guys, no problem. See you next time. NDP
have
candidate.
Your say. They let them have their say and even argue back and forth.
Yeah. And so shoe on the other foot, what would have happened had 3 burly men stormed an event with Chrystia Freeland or what's her name, Catherine McKenna, the former environment minister, or Rachel Notley herself?
We don't have to wonder. That guy in Grand Prairie yelled at Chrystia Freeland and they investigated him for a hate crime.
I remember exactly the case you're talking about. He merely hollered at her, not disrupting an event. And it was a 5-alarm fire nationally. And that's what's incredible. I'm going to do my show on this tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time for those who subscribe. Point 1 is that these were not random people. These were senior NDP activists. Point 2, this is how they're deployed to Danielle Smith's events, but you even go in as a polite reporter, as Sheila and Adam were saying, and you're not allowed to ask questions at all as a polite reporter. Point 3, the media coverage. Do we have a clip of the CBC's coverage? Why don't we play that? I have not actually watched it yet, but I understand which of the media said it's a minor drama. Horn honking will throw the country under martial law because someone honked their horn meanly, in a mean way, and you can tell. But what was that? Is that the Toronto Star there? The Toronto Star called this a minor drama. Why don't you get over yourselves, you guys? What kind of a country do we have if you're not allowed to storm an event and drive the premier herself off the podium? What kind of country do we live in if we're not allowed to do that? Says the Toronto Star that called for the lockdown of 40 million of us because of some truckers honking. Okay, yeah, I think you've got it there. Let's take a look at the CBC piece together. I haven't watched this yet. Let's take a look at what Trudeau's CBC state broadcaster that can't shut up about microaggressions and genderizing things. And what do they have to say about a couple of white dudes, middle-aged, burly white dudes? Normally, those are the hated people in the CBC. But let's see what they have to say today. Take a look.
Hospitals are not for sale. Hospitals are not for sale. Hospitals are not for sale. Hospitals are not for sale.
We saw your video about buying hospitals. Check it out. We've got a great offer.
A UCP campaign announcement hijacked by protesters today. Party candidate Pamela Rath was cut off mid-speech as protesters, as you saw, rushed the stage area holding signs. One of them reading the Rocky View Hospital is up for sale. The announcement was paused as the protesters were ushered off stage. As you can see, the NDP condemned that disruption in a tweet. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Rob Brown. So as you just saw, concern over the privatization of healthcare is pushing some Albertans to act out. It stems from a video from a couple of years ago where Danielle
Oh
Smith spoke about potential reforms to Alberta's health system. Our Joel Dryden has the details in our top story.
We're right here. She can say anything that she wants.
You're
interrupting
the mic and the press are right there.
that we're having, and you're disrespecting everybody exactly.
Their protest ties back to an NDP event on Wednesday and a 2021 video of Danielle Smith.
It's a structure issue.
In the video, Smith suggests if AHS isn't meeting terms, then the province could issue a request for proposals for private entities to run hospitals, while remaining publicly funded. Fiona Clement specializes in health policy at the University of Calgary. She says such an idea would be possible.
It's the same kind of model as being the private surgical delivery system. So, I mean, she's absolutely correct in her interpretation of what's allowable and what's possible.
Clement notes that's not to say anything about how effective or controversial such a model might be.
I should let you know that it was Danielle Smith who pushed them to do this. That's what the CBC tells us.
Yeah.
Yes.
She caused
Pushing
this.
them to act out. They're just acting out.
Yeah.
You guys.
They should never have been provoked.
And by the way, they never disclose that these, quote, protesters or senior NDP activists. I just sent you, Olivia, the CBC headline, which I'm sure you have there. A group.
They also didn't do one other thing. They said the NDP condemned the protest, but they didn't say that the NDP inspired it and tweeted out exactly the location so that not only protesters would go there, which I think were already organized by the NDP, if I had to speculate, but they were hoping that other ones would go too, because the NDP tweeted out the location of this event, and CBC also refused to disclose that.
Yeah. That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest, either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gunn Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.